Hashtag everyone wore armor against the predator cubs. Only the human in pajamas earned their trust. The morning alarm screamed through the research station like a wounded animal. Dr. Sarah Chun rolled out of her narrow bunk, still wearing her favorite flannel pajamas covered in tiny cartoon cats. She had exactly 12 minutes to grab coffee before the daily briefing about their most dangerous assignment yet. The Kithara research station orbited a planet that shouldn't exist. Below them, massive predators the size of Earth's extinct dinosaurs roamed freely, but it wasn't the adults that brought teams of xenobiologists from across the galaxy. It was their cubs. Sarah shuffled into the briefing room, coffee mug in hand, completely unaware that every other being in the room wore full tactical armor. The Zelthani delegation looked like walking tanks in their chrome-plated suits. The insectoid hive minds had wrapped themselves in energy shields that hummed with dangerous electricity. Even the peaceful Aquarians had donned their ceremonial battle gear, complete with plasma-resistant scales. Commander Vexhai, a 7-foot-tall reptilian with scars across his snout, stared at the small human female in disbelief. Dr. Chun, where is your protective equipment? Sarah blinked over her coffee mug. My what now? The cubs we're studying today are Shadow Maw offspring. Their bite can shatter titanium. Their claws can cut through molecular bonds. Every species in known space requires military-grade protection just to observe them from a distance. Oh, Sarah took another sip of coffee. Well, I don't have any armor. Will this be a problem? The room fell silent except for the nervous clicking of hive mind communication and the low hum of energy shields powering up higher. Dr. Quintal, the lead Zelthani researcher, stepped forward with movements that made his armor joints grind. Perhaps the human should observe from the orbital platform today? Through telescopes. Very powerful telescopes. Sarah frowned. She hadn't traveled 18 months through hyperspace to look at alien creatures through a telescope. I'll be fine. How dangerous can baby animals really be? The question hung in the air like a toxic cloud. Every non-human in the room exchanged glances that clearly said the same thing. This human has no idea what she's walking into. And she's going to die horribly. Commander Vexhai pulled up a holographic display showing footage from previous expeditions. Shadow Maw cubs, each the size of a small horse, moved with fluid grace through crystalline caves. Their midnight black fur seemed to absorb light itself, and their eyes glowed like dying stars. In one clip, a cub playfully swiped at a reinforced observation drone, shredding it into confetti with a casual gesture. These are not Earth mammals, Dr. Chun. Shadow Maw cubs are born with fully developed predatory instincts. They hunt in coordinated packs from the moment they can walk. Their saliva contains 17 different neurotoxins. They communicate through subsonic frequencies that can liquefy most organic hearing organs. Sarah nodded thoughtfully. So they're like really big, really smart, really poisonous puppies. Got it. The Aquarian delegate, Dr. Merthes, spoke up with his translator crackling from stress. Dr. Chun, with respect to your species, perhaps humans simply lack the biological mechanisms to understand true danger. Your fight-or-flight response may be malfunctioning. My fight-or-flight response works just fine, thank you. Sarah finished her coffee and stood up. Look, I appreciate everyone's concern, but I didn't become a xenobiologist to hide behind telescopes. If you want to study these creatures properly, someone has to get close enough to observe their actual behavior. And since I'm apparently the only one here not wearing a tank, that someone is me. The briefing room erupted in protest from a dozen different species, each pointing out the obvious insanity of sending an unarmored human near creatures that could kill trained soldiers. But Sarah had already made up her mind. She'd spent her entire career studying Earth's most dangerous predators, from great white sharks to polar bears. How different could alien cubs really be? Commander Vexhai finally raised a clawed hand for silence. Very well. But you will carry emergency beacons, stay within transport range at all times, and the moment anything goes wrong, we extract you immediately. Fair enough. Sarah headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and someone should probably tell me where I can find these cubs. Dr. Quintal's armor made worried beeping sounds as he accessed his datapad. The pack we've been monitoring has taken up residence in the Crystal Caverns, approximately 6 kilometers from our forward base. The caves provide natural amplification for their sonic hunting calls, making them particularly dangerous to approach. Sonic hunting calls. That actually sounds kind of interesting. Interesting? Dr. Chun. These calls have been known to cause permanent neurological damage to anyone without proper auditory protection. Sarah waved dismissively. I'll bring earplugs. As the human left the briefing room, still in her cat-covered pajamas, the assembled researchers stood in stunned silence. Finally, Dr. Marathi spoke what they were all thinking. Should we prepare a memorial service now, or wait until we find the remains? 3 hours later, Sarah stood at the entrance to the crystal caverns, wearing the same pajamas, a basic field vest with research equipment, and bright yellow earplugs that she'd borrowed from the station's maintenance crew. The caves stretched into darkness ahead of her, their crystalline walls catching and reflecting the alien sunlight in patterns that hurt to look at directly. Her escort team, all heavily armored and armed, maintained a respectful distance of 50 meters. Their weapons were set to wide dispersal stun, designed to incapacitate without killing, but everyone knew that if things went wrong, stunning might not be enough. Dr. Chun, Commander Vexhai's voice crackled through her comm unit. Are you absolutely certain about this approach? We've had 3 expeditions attempt close observation in the past year. None succeeded in gathering usable data, and all suffered casualties. What kind of casualties? The lucky ones only needed reconstructive surgery. Sarah adjusted her equipment pack and checked her recording devices. Well, maybe they just weren't approaching it right. Sometimes animals respond better to calm, non-threatening behavior than to military tactics. She stepped into the cave entrance, immediately feeling the temperature drop and the quality of sound change. The crystals around her seemed to hum with subtle vibrations, and somewhere in the distance, she could hear what sounded like singing. The singing grew louder as she moved deeper into the caves, following a main tunnel that